First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming along this afternoon. And I would like, first off, for everybody to introduce themselves. And can I ask Merthyr councillors to introduce first, then RCT councillors, then co-opted members, and finally officers. So if you could do that, please, now.
I'm Councillor Declan Salmon, Dowlas Ward, Merthyr Tydfil.
Councillor Tanya Skinner, Ward Councillor for Park Ward in Merthyr Tydfil and Vice Chair.
I'm not sure if I introduced myself, but I am a Merthyr councillor, Councillor Kevin O'Neill, and I'm the chair of the PSB.
I'll introduce you separately after.
There's a pause there, I thought, fill it.
Jill, that's all the councillors. Chris Hall is an officer.
Okay, can RCT councillors then introduce themselves if Merthyr?
Okay, Councillor Gareth Capel, representing the Cummer Ward in the Rhondda.
Councillor Will Jones, representing Gerbert Ward, RCT.
And I'm Councillor Jill Bonetto. I represent Taftswell Ward and I am chairing the meeting today. So if officers could present themselves, please.
Unmute my mic, apologies. Yeah, Christian Hannigan, Service Director, Democratic Services and Communications, Rhondda Cynon Taf Council.
Sarah Handy, Democratic Services, Rhondda Cynon Taf Council.
Claire Hendy, Democratic Services, Rhondda Cynon Taf Council.
Kirsty Smith, Senior PSB Support Officer for Cumtaf PSB.
Lisa Toghill, Senior PSB Support Officer for Cumtaf PSB.
And I'm awfully sorry, but I did forget the co-opted members. Can you introduce yourselves? I do apologise for that.
Chair, Mel Jehu, I'm a co-opted member and I'm an independent member of Cumtaf Morgannwg University Health Board.
Is that the only co-opted member we've got, Sarah?
Sorry, Chair. Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We've also got Chris from the team in Merthyr with us, Chair, just for him to be able to introduce himself.
Okay. Thank you. Right, we go on to the declaration of interest to receive disclosures of personal interests from committee members in accordance with the Code of Conduct. So if any member has a personal interest, can they please indicate now?
No interest declared, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Right, and next is to approve as an accurate record the minutes of the meeting held on the 7th of February 2020. Can I have somebody propose, please?
Could you just have a yes, somebody to propose and second those, please?
Yeah, I'll propose. Sure.
Thank you, Councillor Jones.
I second, Jill.
Okay, thank you. And right, next we go on to the Chair of the Cumtaf Public Service Board and the update. First of all, thank you for coming along, Councillor O'Neill, today. And also congratulations on you becoming the new chair of the PSB. Look forward to working with you in the future.
Very much. Just a little background about me, I think might be helpful, and my links with the PSB. I got elected 3 years ago. I'd never been a councillor before, but 4 years prior to that, I retired as being Chief Superintendent of Police for Merthyr, Rhondda Cynon Taf. I was a senior police officer. And 2009, I sat on what they were called then the local service boards. We had a local service board for Merthyr and a local service board for Rhondda Cynon Taf, and also a joint service board that then Peter Vaughan, the Chief Constable, chaired. So I do have a background in this particular journey as far as, and originally it was very much around collaborative working, but protecting the sovereignty of both local authorities. As I said, I retired in 2014, and I've been propelled back into this world now, having been elected 3 years ago. I've been vice chair for the last 12 months, and I've attended as leader of the council most of the meetings since I've been elected. So I'm very supportive of the principle of working together, particularly with the third party and other agencies, because the PSB is a multifaceted group. So we're looking back now on the last 12 months, but I will touch on where I feel we should be going and how we should shape it into a much more cohesive and focused piece of work. I asked myself, how would I explain the PSB to a member of the community if they spoke to me? And I think that's where, my view is, there should be sort of 4 or 5 lines of text that should explain it. And that's what I would like to add a little bit of specific and more concise. So I've got 6 pages here of an update. So I'm going to try and, I'm sure this will be circulated to everybody, but I'm going to try and give some headlines of it and keep it very precise. So if that's okay, I know that would not be the normal process, but this is a pretty weighty update. So I can give you detail behind it when questioned, I hope, but I don't intend to read it verbatim, Chair.
Okay, Councillor, I'm just aware that Lisa has to go.
Yes.
Would it be okay if Lisa, if she has anything to say, could actually do that before now then?
Yes, of course,
so that
yeah.
we can give you the time that you require, and also give Lisa the chance to speak before she has to go.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you both. To be honest with you, Chair, I think everything is pretty much in the update, and Kirsty and I would have had the opportunity to work with Councillor O'Neill, obviously, to put the update together. So everything that I would want to say, I'm sure Councillor O'Neill will cover.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, yeah, Councillor O'Neill.
Okay, thank you again to the Joint Overview and Scrutiny Committee for inviting me as new chair and to give a bit of an overview of the previous year. This is the second year that has been continuing and building on the success of our first year, as well as incorporating and using what we have learned. We are still taking an assets-based approach, meaning that we look at what works well in Cwmtaf, what people are proud of, and what they want to do to strengthen and develop those things. To focus our work, we have kept in mind 2 key questions. How are we making a positive difference in our communities? And are our mechanisms for delivering right, and are they working? The first part, and I know the officer Chris Hole is here today from Merthyr Tydfil, is progress against the wellbeing objectives and looking at thriving communities. Across both areas, neighbourhood networks continue to thrive and act as a way of the community be involved in the hub and how they develop. The community coordinated roles carried out by Suzanne Jones and Louise Clement helped to build and strengthen existing networks and improve access to service to promote the hubs within the area. Over the last 6 months, the hubs have been instrumental in supporting and coordinating community response. There are 2 hubs, one in the Gurnos and one in Ferndale. Now, before I continue, Chris, is there anything you would want to come in and support my presentation before at this moment? Is Chris out there, Chris Hall? No answer. Well, I'll continue then.
Chair, I don't think Chris's audio is actually working.
Ah, right. Okay. Okay, but as I said previously, we have a hub operating in the Gurnos area and a hub operating in the Ferndale area. The hubs offered and signposted information, advice and assistance. There are also links with early years work. And certainly from my perspective, this has been a strong success point in relation to developing a single point of contact in the communities for support. The next point I'm going to touch on is healthy people, and that deals with the vulnerability profile that's been developed for both areas, so we can identify and help vulnerable families. Some of this work, obviously, has been taken over by COVID-19, and much of that analysis and insight in relation to key things like pregnant women, children and young families who are vulnerable, these have been delayed due to the impact of COVID-19. A new service has also been set up for vulnerable women facing the risk of repeated unplanned pregnancies. And this service will provide outreach sexual health workers in identified areas to break the barriers to engagement and offer women sexual health advice in their own communities. The next point was the strong economy. And this is where we launched the Employability Pledge. That was in February 2020. This commits the PSB and member organisations to develop and share best practice when it comes to improving routes into employment, opportunities for development within the workforce, and volunteer and work experience. We had an excellent presentation on this, where people had identified their ability to get back into employment and working through local volunteer groups and education. For instance, the Penedre High School and the local colleges had got back into work. Tackling loneliness and isolation, Ian Davey from VAMT led on this, and this was looking to address and mitigate loneliness and isolation. Of course, once again, COVID-19 came in and loneliness and isolation became extreme for those being shielded, but also many others who found themselves possibly working from home, looking after young families, or for whatever reason, as far as health, also on that shielding list. What I will say outside of this is that the work in recruiting and linking with voluntary agencies has been of such a high level across both local authorities. And I think the views of local elected members and officers have never been so positive because of that ability to link in with their communities. And it's been particularly acute in relation to having the head of the WLGA, Councillor Andrew Morgan, who can directly jettison straight into Welsh Government and get our voices heard. So that has been one of the positives for me out of the COVID-19 issue and tackling loneliness. There was some money found to employ a loneliness and an isolation development officer. And this has been a gentleman called Ryan Bevan, who's been working to support and develop local groups working on this agenda. There have been other elements. The PSB published its interim annual report by 4th of July, in line with reporting deadlines. Also, regional working continued, particularly the Regional Partnership Board. And of course, one of the key aims is bringing us back into line now with the Bridgend Local Authority to develop that wider PSB. And my vice chair with that is Mark Brace, who is the actual chair of the Bridgend PSB. We had a presentation also from the Live Lab. This was all about ACEs, adult childhood experiences, and how we actually identify those adult childhood experiences and also identify how we can make best intervention. And of course, the work already in place in the hub with the early years engagement is key in delivering that. So even on having this presentation, we're able to say in some respects, well, we're already addressing some of the issues that have been brought to mind. I think it's, as you can see, despite the fact I precede a lot of this, there's been a hell of a lot going on and a hell of a lot's been done. And I think that's one of the things we need to do is also both to members, officers, and particularly the community, let them know what's been done, because things have changed in the last 12 months. There's been some barriers, flooding and the impact this has had on our communities. And once again, both Merthyr Tydfil and Rhondda Cynon Taf suffered. And once again, I will say that we have worked together, myself and Andrew Morgan have worked together, because unfortunately the simplicity of it, the water that comes down to Merthyr lands up in your area. So as we clear our culverts, it creates more problems for you. So we've got to be clear of that and work together. And we both can empathise the absolutely awful stories of our residents, who some people have only just finished the repairs to the previous floods, when here they come again. So again, working together on those issues. COVID-19, PSB stood down in June. Well, it did stand down, but it's popped back up now. And during that time, we didn't stand still as local authorities. And many of the key things that we're looking to do as a PSB have been fulfilled by the agendas that have set up in COVID-19. From my observation, the supporting of business economies, the supporting of the vulnerable, the supporting of the homeless, supporting of those individuals who are shielding, has never been done so well. And these are all underneath the themes of the Public Service Board. So we did lose our grant, and we received a letter from Julie James, Minister for Housing and Local Government, informing us that there will be no grant available for PSBs 2020 to 21. This is a loss of £55,844. The only money made available to us as a board. All right, that's the only money made available to us. This is an extract of the letter, I believe. You and your boards will have an important role to play in considering and coordinate this longer-term response to the impacts of COVID-19 on communities. And I know that many of you already are reflecting on this. It should be seen as an opportunity to drive transformation in how services are delivered, seeking to achieve environmental, social, cultural, and economic benefits. For example, collaborative working on digital transformation, safe, active travel, housing infrastructure, and placemaking. The response will require increased collaboration and sharing of resources, as well as recognising in many service areas the need to fundamentally change in how they operate. But I'm pleased to say a lot of those things are going on anyway, and they've always gone on. But I think under the umbrella of the PSB, we should be able to shine the light on them and ensure that we keep what I call the hard yards. People can do the interesting, shiny stuff all the time, but the hard yards, building up relationships, keeping on track, we need to keep those things going because they deliver. So moving forward, Julie James' letter sets a tone which we now approach our work, building back better in the new normal. And I think the new normal is going to be with us for some time. To that end, the Community Impact Assessment is a collaborative effort between the partnerships operating in Cwmtwrth Morgannwg and will be a valuable tool for teasing out the recommendations based on data and insight. And I can tell you this much, that is getting better by the day. The data we're receiving at the moment from public health is down to a ward level. So that's encouraging. If we can do it for that, we should be able to do it for other things. Our first draft is underway and we recognise the need for speed when it comes to this work in terms of quickly learning lessons in readiness for the approaching second wave, which I think we're in the middle of now anyway. Strategic Partnership Board is taking place on the 15th of September, and the priorities and focus for this year for the wellbeing objectives. The Public Service Board meets again on the 20th of October. Lastly, the PSB has now a new chair, me, and a vice chair, Mark Brace. The board extends its thanks to Professor Marcus Langley for his service as chair over the last few years, and we look forward to working and advancing under the new leadership. We have a goal to obviously align with Bridgend PSB, to streamline and focus our services, and you can see much has been done, but also to recognise some of the key issues that have come out of COVID: mental health, homelessness, the recovery of our environment, recovery of the economy, and working together with the third sector, and particularly building on the fantastic relationships we have with the voluntary sector now. That completes my update. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor O'Neill. I'm going to go to Kirsty first to see if there is anything Kirsty would like to say, and then we'll come to any questions.
Thank you, Chair. But no, as my colleague Lisa said, we were involved in putting together the update with our new Chair. Congratulations again to Councillor O'Neill. So I may come in to help answer with any questions from the committee, but otherwise, no, nothing to contribute from me.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, I will go to questions. Bear with me, this is my first time. So I'll go to Councillor Capel. If you could ask your question, please.
Thank you, Chair. It's a bit of a statement as well, leading to a question. I think Councillor O'Neill summed up the issues of this year very well. I think since Storm Dennis, which is the biggest disaster to hit us since the Second World War, and then COVID, it has given us a lot of heart in our public services. The public clapped every Thursday for the NHS, and at one point, certainly they were clapping, in my area, the refuse collectors going down the street, and the postal workers. There was an appreciation of what public service is all about.
Absolutely.
Talking about the hubs, I was very impressed with Ferndale Hub. Absolutely, I know Ferndale well, being around the boy, but the hub was very impressive, working with the Fern Partnership as well. Excellent facilities and well supported by the community. And that's the way we go in. But with the future of the hubs, obviously, it's what's in those hubs that count. It's what the people want. They want these services close to them, and as many services as possible. The one in Porth, for example, is a plaza, and that's being developed as we speak. And I think it's an opportunity for all services, whether it's health, well-being, council, all to come together in one hub for the community. So I think, you know, we're going in the right direction, and there is an appreciation for council services. And of course, the work of Andrew Morgan and other leadership are well respected within the community. So my question is about the future of the hubs. You've got the Gurnas, you've got Ferndale, you've got the Plaza, etc., and others. I would just like to ask, should all hubs provide a basic service, whether it be on health, on council, etc., so that the community has access to as many services in one place as they can? I'm just wondering if that's the direction we're going in, and if so, can we compare the hubs as we're going through the process?
I'm sure that the staff behind the scenes will come back and correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is clearly that's going to be based on capacity. And sometimes the amount of capacity in Rhondda and Taff is great as ours in Merthyr Tydfil. I think there's a baseline, like early years is one of the things that I've seen operating very well in the Gurnas area with young parents and with young children, their sort of parenting skills and all that sort of thing. And I think the desire would be to have a set model. Now, something's going on in my mind that linking with GPs as well, that one spot hits all. And I know that when we looked at one of the elements, and it'll come to me, I think it's the element that supports the elderly stay well at home. The service provided by Rhondda and Taff was better than ours. It had more ability to provide more services. So it is based on capacity. I don't know if there is a specific list of elements that's a baseline. Maybe Lisa or could help me on this one. You're muted, Lisa, I think.
I am. Sorry about that, Councillor O'Neill. Yeah, I think, obviously, I think Chris, Chris, are you able to speak now, or?
I'm not sure. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, you are.
Oh, there we go.
Not to steal your thunder.
No, it's okay. No, I don't think there has been a suite of principles to say these are the types of services we want. It was just bringing services closer to the community. So it was about looking at the natural fit and how partners were able to contribute into those hubs at this point in time. I mean, I think it's an interesting principle to say, okay, in principle, these are the types of services we would want, but it's been very much driven by what's locally in those areas and what partners can bring to the table at present.
And I think just to add a little point there, that we're talking about the hubs as one building, but also the wider spoke network with it. So it's not just about what's available in that one building, but what's available in all of the assets in the rest of the community.
Okay.
I was just going to say, yes, that's right. There's a Department for Employment in Porth as well. So they're working with the hubs. And it's not just one building, it's a network. It's a GPs, there's a medical centre in Pontnewydd, all in one town, Porth. And it's just making those work together. So you've got the 3 buildings, but the facilities should all be interlinked. That's the point I was trying to make. Thank you, Chair.
I think that is absolutely correct. It's about that developing that integrated approach with each other. You know, there are some benefits obviously to being located in same buildings because they become more familiarised and work together better in that way. But the point is, it should be a network of organisations working together, making sure there's no overlaps, making sure nobody falls through the gaps, if you like, including the working with linking with schools and other providers to make sure there's a comprehensive suite of local services available to local people.
Okay, thank you, Gareth. And thank you, Chris.
Sorry, Chair, could I just add to that? Just to say that obviously another layer to that would be the neighbourhood networks as well and the community involvement in that in terms of our approach and the 5 ways of working, that the community's involvement and their decision making and sort of say in that is vitally important, and that's being developed in the hubs as well.
Okay, right, I'll go across to Mel now. If you'd like to ask your question, please, Mel.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I want to make just an observation, if I may, please, Chair, and then perhaps throw in a little bit of a question at the tail end, be something that I just want to establish. First of all, can I congratulate Councillor O'Neill on his appointment? And this isn't the statement I just want to make. Look, I'm the Vice Chair of the Police and Crime Panel, and I have been for 8 years, and I've been scrutinising the police, and I've been on the Health Board for many years, and indeed part of this committee for many years, along with other stuff that I do in the community. And throughout the journey that we've been taking in relation to scrutiny, the biggest issue is always, are we able to function, and does it work when we are truly tested? And over the last certainly through 2020, I've been sitting and watching and been involved in governance and scrutiny on a number of areas. And I can say with great conviction that our public servants, the Public Service Board, the local authorities, South Wales Police, the health boards, our public servants, the voluntary sector and our communities have really stood up when they were needed and to be counted. And I just want to commend the work that's gone on over the last, certainly through this year. I've been watching with great interest how big organisations dealing with really complex things, both at a community level and at a highly significant political level, have worked together and shoulder to shoulder have made sure that our communities, Cwmtaf, Rhondda, RCT and Merthyr Tydfil, and indeed Bridgend, have worked really together. And we mustn't underestimate the brilliant work that's gone on. So I just wanted that to put on record. This is another question I posed to Councillor O'Neill in his role as chair of the PSB. Councillor O'Neill, I just want to make sure, and you and I will know from our police backgrounds, that when you go through things, it's important to keep a record of what we did well, how we did it, and how we achieved it. So I hope that somewhere along the line, during the course of, certainly as we go through the next phase as well, someone is keeping a record. So when this is all over, we can look back and actually have a debrief on what worked, and hopefully that the things that are happening now can be just business as normal, because it's really working. That's the end. Thank you for indulging me, Chair, but I just felt as a co-opted member who sits on numerous boards, it's my opportunity to say a big well done to everybody that's been involved on doing what they're doing, making sure that we are where we are now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mel. Councillor Will Jones.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be pretty brief. I just want to make a sort of statement and maybe a little question again at the end. If COVID is, if anything good has come out of COVID, which is a silly thing to say, but it is, the hubs have been playing a key role in it. But obviously, what COVID has shown us are the voluntary hubs that are everywhere. And it's not in my ward, but I mentioned Carnarvon, Pentra, and other organisations within villages that have really, really stepped up, you know, with the key role of the main hubs, the support from them. But I only hope that will continue. It showed us it can work, and that small is beautiful. So the little hubs, the voluntary hubs, know exactly what's going on within their wards and in their villages. So I think it's important that we continue with that. I know we have the main hubs, but the communication and the support between the main hubs and the villages and the other hubs are really important. And I really want to ask the question of, you know, we are moving forward on this, and that must, and I hope it will, be a main part of the way forward. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, do you want me to pass any comments?
Yes, please, Councillor O'Neill, if you could, please.
Yeah, I'll relate to the first one from Mel there. Great, thank you, Mel, who used to be my old boss in the police force. He was always kind to me then, so I was hoping he'd be kind to me today, so he has.
Not so, okay, not so, please.
The points you made are well placed. I think I can't speak totally for Rhondda Cynon Taf, but my engagement with the health board on a regular basis, my engagement with Andrew and his work with the WLGA, I think I've been very, very impressed. And what I've been also impressed with, answering the second question, is the conduit that our elected members create. They are links in their own communities. They really have become absolutely vital in supporting this sort of the COVID response. I mean, it's been fantastic to see. Yes, we will track what we do, Mel. You know, I'm project trained. People don't like doing boring stuff, but boring stuff works, and we got to stick with it. And people, once we've done something well, they're looking for a different way to do it next year. No, we don't do a different way. We keep stick with the boring because it delivers. And we will track it through, because we haven't got the time and we haven't got the money to deal with the fashionable or the quick fix. We need to, you know, embed these things in. Yeah, and also we are, and you would know this, Mel, we've got a crisis. We are. And I think the local authorities have proved themselves. They're pretty light on their feet as well, to be honest with you. So the relationship I see with the emergency services and the local authorities has really been enhanced. And in many ways, we've been dragging everybody else behind us. But when that crisis is over, it's really important to get back to that hard yard stuff. And that's how I've been trained. I've got a lot more to learn about the local authority environment, but I'm really reassured that I think we need to shape it. I think we should try not to do everything, but do the things that really have the best impact for the communities. And relating to Councillor Capel, yeah, and the other councillor as well, the hubs have been a big success. They're physical, you can see them, and they're there, they're buildings, but it's joining up and those spokes as well that everybody's talking about. We can't let those go. In the past, we've let some of those places go. We've got to keep with it. And money isn't always the answer either. It's about engaging the right people and keeping those people informed and updated. So, yeah, I'll do my very best to do that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. It doesn't appear if there's any more questions. There's no more hands up. So if we can go to the next business, and that is the Public Service Board Joint Overview and Scrutiny Committee Annual Report 2019-20. So I'll go over to Mr. Hannigan for that, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be very brief with this report. It is self-explanatory. The purpose of the report is to present to members of this committee the annual report of the Joint Overview and Scrutiny Committee, which sets out the work undertaken from March 2019 to 2020, although obviously the 2019-20 municipal year has been extended. I understand Merthyr colleagues undertook part of their AGM last week, and obviously in Rhondda Cynon Taf we are undertaking our AGM next Wednesday. So the new municipal year, I suppose, starts from next week. The publication of the annual report is something that is contained within the terms of reference of the Joint Overview and Scrutiny committee, but this is the first annual report that is being produced on behalf of yourself as committee members. And I think it is an important document because it does set out the progress to date and the challenge and the inquiry that's been undertaken by the committee over the last 12 months. And we've made huge progress in terms of the impact that scrutiny has and the information that we've been able to provide to committee to take forward those deliberations and considerations. And I know members found the session with Dr. David McKenna useful in terms of understanding how to take forward that joint scrutiny approach. And hopefully within the new municipal year, that's something we can look to build upon in terms of providing that additional support to members of this committee to take forward their important role, which is more than ever for many of the issues which Councillor Kevin O'Neill alluded to in his presentation, in the terms of what the Public Service Board has responsibility for, representing public sector in Rhondda Cynon Taf, Merthyr Tydfil, and in the future, Bridgend County Borough. So I say it is a self-explanatory report. I hope members think that it does accurately reflect the work of the committee over the last 12 months. And I say, subject to members' agreement today, certainly from a Rhondda Cynon Taf perspective, we will look forward to tabling this at a future council meeting, very much so with our membership within Rhondda Cynon Taf. We can share the good work that the committee has achieved over the last 12 months. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hannigan. Are there any questions that anybody would like to ask on the annual report? No? Okay, there isn't any other business, so I'll go over the last thing now is the Chair's review and closure. Right. Firstly, I'd like to express my thanks to all members and officers of the Public Service Board Joint Scrutiny Committee for their support during the 2019-20 council year. Unprecedented times have brought changes and different ways of working over the last 6 months, and particularly in the way we now have to hold council meetings. I appreciate that for some of our members, attending a virtual meeting for the first time, I know, be rather daunting, if like myself, not technically minded. However, I know that our officers are here to give any support over the coming months. The decision was made by the Joint Overview Scrutiny Committee to use a different way of working during the 2019-20 year. Instead of scrutinising all the areas the PSB were discussing or implementing, we made the decision to centre our attention on one area, thriving communities, which obviously does take in a lot of other things besides. It is quite a big task to take on. Particularly though, community hubs, as been mentioned. A very successful visit was made to Ferndale to see the work and participation by local residents into the wide range of activities taking place. This is encouraging for the future and implementation of these community hubs across both RCT and Merthyr, and adapting to the needs of the residents in our communities. Unfortunately, due to ongoing building work, we were unable to revisit the Gurness Community Hub, but I'm sure that we will hopefully be able to return there in the future. I would like to thank Professor Marcus Langley and Dr. Kalecki for attending our meetings and for the updates they presented to us on the work of the PSB. These have been invaluable to us on giving us the focus to question and move forward with scrutiny. I look forward to Councillor Kevin O'Neill attending PSB Overview and Scrutiny and keeping us informed on the ongoing work of the PSB. I'm not going to speak on all aspects of the work of the scrutiny over the past year, as I'm sure that you will have read the annual report. However, I feel from very tentative steps, we are now beginning to show that we can be a credible scrutiny committee and holding the PSB to account. I believe that if we look at all the decisions we make is based on the 5 ways of working, well-being and the Future Generations Act, then as a committee, we can only improve and help conditions within all our communities across our county borough. So once again, I would like to thank all of you for all the help and support that has been given to this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Jill.
That's okay. With that, I don't think we have any other business. rather quick. So you're okay, Mel?
Thank you, Chair. What a brilliant job.
Okay. So with that, I will close it and wish you all a good weekend and stay safe and well.